The December 2nd meeting of the Thousand Oaks Youth Commission is called to order at 6:30 p.m. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance with Commissioner Stein.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now have roll call taken with Staff Coordinator Francine Spriegel.
Commissioner DeMint?
Here.
Commissioner Hatlin?
Here.
Commissioner Hong?
Here.
Commissioner Colheb?
Here.
Commissioner McMinn?
Present.
Commissioner Ramirez-Davis is absent. Commissioner Rose?
Here.
Commissioner Sadwick?
Here.
Commissioner Sauté?
Here.
Commissioner Sklavenites?
Here.
Commissioner Stein?
Here.
Commissioner Van Buren?
Here.
Commissioner Young?
Here.
Commissioner Martinez?
Here.
And Commissioner Petrus is absent. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now have public comments with Commissioner Sauté.
Are there any public comments at this time? There being none, let's move on.
Thank you. We'll now have the guest speaker introduced by Commissioner Van Buren.
Today, Miss Jeannie Mose from the American Red Cross is here. Miss Mose has 25 years of experience as a volunteer training team lead for disaster services in the Disaster Education Presentation Sect of the Red Cross of Ventura County. Please welcome Miss Jeannie Mose.
I think you're probably aware that in Ventura County we have many different kinds of disasters that could strike. What are some of the things that could happen to us here in Ventura County?
Earthquakes.
Earthquakes.
Fires.
Fires. What kinds of fires?
Brush fires.
As well as wildfires.
Floods.
Floods, absolutely. And what can happen after floods?
Mudslides.
Mudslides. Right. So despite what any of these disasters are, they have something in common. They all need to be prepared for. And we can do Oh, it didn't stay on. One is a go kit that you want to keep by your front door or under your bed, and it's got critical information like your identification and any material that you need to get out of your house quickly. Say, change of clothes, in case it's the middle of the night. You don't want to be stuck outside in just your pajamas. You probably want to have a change of clothes and some shoes so that you're not stuck barefoot, because it can get pretty cold here. If you're driving, a car kit is not a bad idea. Have something there because you may not be close to home when a disaster strikes. You may be at school or at work. And you want to have enough in there to survive for 2 days. And then your family should have a home kit that you keep either in the kitchen or the garage. And you may notice a little change. They used to say 3 days. Now they say survival for 4 weeks at home with no utilities, because that could happen. I think we saw that a little bit with Katrina, that it happened for a lot longer than anybody anticipated. Why do you think that we want to keep the materials in the kitchen or the garage?
They're probably like the most fire safe and other types of things. They're usually the most sturdiest parts of the house.
They're the sturdiest parts of the house, and they actually happen to be very close to the outside of the house. They're not in the middle of the house. They used to recommend putting your materials in a closet, but if something happens to the house, you'll be able to get at things at the edge of your house a lot easier than you'll be able to get at a closet in the middle. What are some of the things that you need in a kit?
Water.
Absolutely. That's our first one. How much water do you think you need?
2 gallons per person?
It's actually a gallon per person per day. And if you've got elderly people, it could be a little bit more, or anybody who's sick, because sometimes they'll drink more water. And sometimes children will drink more if they're nervous, which happens in a disaster as well. What are some sources for water besides bottles and the sink? Jacob?
I know some people, it's kind of extreme, but some people like have this like bio thing in their pool, so you can actually drink the pool water at certain points.
And that's a good idea, because your pool water if you don't treat it that way, has a lot of chlorine in it, and that can make you sick. So you don't want to do that. Effie?
Can you get it from the toilet?
The back of it, not the bowl.
Yeah,
but the back is
the back
clean.
of the toilet.
Yeah. As long as you don't have one of those things that hangs in it to make the water fresh, that's fine.
The water tank, the heater.
The water heater, that's a great source. And if your power's out, probably your ice cube maker, if you have an ice cube maker, that's going to turn to water too. So, and you know that's purified because it goes through a filter as the ice is made. Okay, what besides water do you need?
Band-Aids and Neosporin in case you get a cut or something.
First aid. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and go through these slides because it does have an order in here. You want to have food, and you want to have food that you like. I mean, eventually, if you get low on food, you'll eat anything. But you want to have things that your family will like, things that are easy to do, too. Peanut butter is real easy. You can spread it on just about anything, as long as you're not allergic to it. Energy bars are a good idea because they're very portable and very easy to store. We do have soup there, but I'll get to that in a minute. They also have new things called heater meals. They're like the MREs that the military use, but they actually have a little heater in them, so you can heat them up. And it's about 1,000 calories per meal, so that's almost a day's worth of calories for you. But it's a nice alternative, and those are available actually from the Red Cross. Now, if you've got canned goods, what else do you need?
Heat?
Probably. You can eat soup cold. It's not as good as when it's hot.
Utensils to open up the soup?
Absolutely. Manual can opener is probably a good idea. Your electric one may not be working. Okay. Can we go back to the slides, please? And you probably don't want to fight the one on the right for the food after they've gotten it open. You know, dogs will chew through a can if they have to, but you probably don't want to try and get it away from them afterwards. And like you were saying, Effie, a first aid kit, that's a really good thing to have. And the Red Cross does offer those for sale as well as a lot of stores. And flashlight. Chances are good it's going to be dark and no power. You want to make sure you have extra batteries, and if you have an old-fashioned flashlight, you want to have extra bulbs as well. If you've got the LEDs, that's not as big of an issue because they really never burn out. The one on the left is kind of an interesting thing. It is a hand-cranked flashlight, and especially if there are young children in the house, they love cranking those things, so you can have a pretty good source of light with kid power. No candles. Why? Fire, right. Unattended, they tend to set fires. And here on the West Coast, we have more gas line breakage than they do on the East Coast. In the East Coast, I used to live there, everybody had candles in their kit because you automatically light candles. Well, earthquakes break your gas lines, so you don't want to do candles. And a radio. Again, on the left, you see one that's a crank one. Actually, the Red Cross has a really neat combination. It's a flashlight, a radio, a siren. There's a lot of different things you can do. It even has solar cells on the top of the handle and an adapter so that you can charge your cell phone. So it takes a while, and you have to make sure it stays in the sun. I found that the spot I chose in my yard to test it wasn't in the sun all day, so you do have to test that a little bit. But you want to make sure you know the radio stations that you need to dial in for the news. KCLU is one that you have right here. That's Cal Lutheran. KVEN, that's the FM station for Ventura. And KMLT, that's another... That's an FM station, along with KHAY and KMLA. Those are local radio stations that will give you the local news in Ventura County. Sure, it's fine to listen to an LA station, but if you want to hear the news for our county, you probably want to tune into one of our stations. Duct tape and plastic sheeting. What do you think you'd use that for?
Shelter?
Absolutely. It's called shelter in place. And what you want to do ahead of time is select a room. If you need to stay in your house and be isolated, select a room, preferably with a bathroom nearby, and seal off the doors, the windows, any fans, any vents that you have leading to the outside. You can do this ahead of time. You can prepare the plastic and write on it like it has in the picture, whether it's for the door or for the window. Then when it's time to isolate that room, you want to put the sheets of plastic up with tape at the corners, and then you want to seal the outside. And you probably want to have some tools. A crowbar will help you lift things that have fallen that are too heavy to just grab and heave. Things for your own protection. You see there a mask, goggles, and gloves. Those will help you when you're cleaning up. There's a lot of dust that gets raised, especially during an earthquake. I live in Simi Valley, and we lost part of Whiteface Mountain during the last earthquake, and that released valley fever spores. So technically, we probably should have sheltered in place and had the room sealed off, because some people did get valley fever from that. And then on the right-hand corner, you see an emergency tool. That's good for turning off your gas. Do you want to turn off your gas automatically if there's an earthquake? I see some no's, and that's right, because it takes the gas company to turn the gas back on, and they're going to be very, very busy. So if you don't smell gas, or you don't hear any hissing where your gas lines are, or you don't have a fire, don't turn it off, because it'll take you a while to get it back on. Scissors, you're going to need something to cut that plastic with if you need to modify it. Screwdrivers, any tools that you can use to help put things back together will be helpful. Glow sticks and a whistle. What are those for?
Well, the whistle can be used for if you're stuck someplace someone can hear you and they can help you, and the glow sticks, maybe you're stuck in a cramped quarter and you don't have a flashlight or anything, so you might need to see with them.
That's great. That's good. And the whistle is really good because you can blow on a whistle for a lot longer than you can scream. Your voice will give out long before your breath will with a whistle, so a whistle's a very good thing to have. In fact, we just found a little construct. It's got a light stick and a whistle all in one thing, and we just taped it to the bedpost, so that's a good thing to have. Glow sticks are great if you get stuck and you need to have some light. They work very, very well. Clothing and bedding. You probably want to have your own clothes that fit better than that picture. And bedding, a sleeping bag, blankets, sheets, whatever is going to make the members of your family comfortable. You want to have some way for them to sleep at night. And you also want to make sure you have glasses and or contacts. If there's a lot of dust in the air, you probably don't want to rely on contacts. You might want to switch to glasses temporarily. And you want to make sure that your glasses are protected. I remember in the Northridge earthquake, the first thing I did was find my glasses because I'm blind without them. And they had flown about halfway across the room off the nightstand. So now I keep them in a hard case so if anything falls on them, they don't get crushed. And I Velcro that to the nightstand. I know it looks kind of strange, but it works. Prescription and non-prescription medications. If anybody in your family is on prescription medications, see if you can get about a week's worth. Most insurance companies will allow you to do that, to get a week's worth for an emergency supply. And you can just keep cycling those medications in and out. Non-prescription medications, if there are things that your family normally uses, like ibuprofen or Pepto-Bismol, you want to make sure you have those on hand, because chances are good you might have a nervous stomach or a little bit of a headache, and you want to have things that you know work for your family, because stores may not be available. And sanitary supplies. My personal favorite is in the top left corner. I'm not real willing to live without that, but you can. Most people don't like living without that. I understand too, if you have that in a shelter, you can sell it for a profit. And then you want to have cleaning supplies. You see that down right below, and hand cleaning. If we don't have water, then you probably want to have some of that hand sanitizer. You want to have trash bags for trash, obviously, but there's also an alternative use for trash bags. If you take a 5-gallon bucket, like paint comes in, and line it with a couple of trash bags. If you don't have running water, you can use that as an emergency toilet. And they actually sell seats for them that you can put on that 5-gallon bucket, and that can be your temporary toilet for you. Of course, you want to put some of the bleach in there to keep the smells down, but that's an alternative for you if you need to think about it. Chances are good you'll be outside more than normal in an emergency, and you want to have some sunscreen so you don't fry. The last thing you want in an emergency is to have a sunburn on top of it. And cash. What do you notice about this cash?
It's in small denominations.
It's in small denominations, and there's a reason for that. If the stores have change at all, they may not have it for long. When they run out of change, a 6-pack of water might cost you $20 if that's all you have is a $20 bill. So cash in small amounts is a good idea. Quarters go into something I'm not sure you guys are familiar with. Do you know where the nearest payphone is to your house? Your self-service may not be available. Chances are good your landlines will be back before cell service is back. So keep that in mind. And make that an assignment. Go find out where the closest payphone is to your house so that if you have to use it, you can. You want to have contact information for all the members of your family, so that you can get in touch with them wherever they might be, whether it's at school or after school care or at work or at some activity. Make sure you know the phone numbers of all those locations. Why do you think you might want to have a map?
In order to get your way around town or know exactly where you are.
That's right. Sometimes the routes that you're familiar with may be blocked. So it's a good idea to have a map so that you can get around a different way. And you want to have important papers. You want to have identification, either in the form of a school ID or a license or a passport. You want to have important papers like your family's mortgage papers or insurance papers. You want to have those in a Ziploc bag. What I have on there is CDs. That is a really good way to copy your important papers. Scan them into the computer, put them on a CD, and keep a copy of that CD with you in case something happens to your paper copies. And it's not a bad idea to send it to your emergency contact, which we'll talk about in a minute, in case your copy gets destroyed. So that way you have a backup copy. And in the middle, you want to make sure you have pictures of all the members of your family, the way they normally look. Some kids do look like that. And you want to have pet supplies. You want to make sure that as prepared as you are for your family, your pets are part of your family, so you want to make sure you prepare for them as well. They're going to take water too, and they get stressed like people do, so they may drink a little bit more. You want to observe how much they drink in a given day and maybe do 25% more than that. Definitely their food. If you have cats, you want to have a litter box available. Leashes and collars and identification for everyone. And if you find you're going to have to be evacuated, it's a good idea to have a crate. Now, we're very, very lucky in Ventura County. Animal control is really good at setting up animal shelters, as well as the Red Cross sets up people shelters. Sometimes they'll be in the same area. They'll have the animals outside and the people inside, because pets are not allowed in Red Cross shelters. But they do have some crates, but if you have your own, it's even better, because that way they don't have to use as many if you bring your own. And you want to make sure you have pictures of your pets as well that show any unusual markings that they might have. You see that dog has a white crest on its chest, and that's a pretty unusual marking. So you want to make sure that you've got pictures of your pets, so if they get lost, you'll have something to post. You want to make sure that you keep your pets close by or with somebody who can take care of them for you, or in a shelter if you need to evacuate. I think we all saw those really sad stories of people who got separated from their pets after Katrina. Some people never got their pets back, and that was pretty sad because some people had had them for a long, long time. And the first 3 days of an emergency are pretty exciting. Everybody's all, oh, let's go to the shelter and see what's going on, and let's see what we can do to help our neighbors and get all cleaned up. And then after a while, it's like, well, the schools aren't back in session yet, and work isn't taking us back yet, so we need something to do. So you might want to have some card games, some board games, and if you have cards, you might want to bring a book of different games and teach each other new games. Okay. You also want to make a plan. You want to talk with your family and make sure that you have a plan for what to do in an emergency. And once you make your plan, you want to practice. There's a few elements to a plan. You want to make sure, and the top of this is a little map, you want to make sure you know 2 ways out of each room in your house, usually a door and a window. Can you think of any rooms in your house that may not have a window?
The garage or a closet?
Garage or closet?
Bathroom?
Bathroom. I know 2 of the 3 bathrooms in my house don't have windows, so that's just the door in there. Once you've identified all the ways to get out of the house, you want to choose a meeting place for where you'll go once you do get out. And you want to designate an out-of-town contact. Why out of town? Rebecca?
For a couple reasons. People who are in town are probably going to be facing disaster or conflicts of their own, so they won't be able to help you as much. And also the phone lines go down, so long distance is more available than local.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. And you want to make sure you've completed your communication plan. How are you going to get a hold of everybody in your family and your emergency contact? The first call you want to make is to your out-of-town contact, letting them know that you're safe or that you've had to be evacuated. Whatever the situation is, you want to make sure they know so that when people call them, because you want to advertise that that's your emergency contact, when people call them, they can give them the news that you guys are okay. Plan your escape routes, we did that. Plan for pets, what are you going to do? You're going to leave it with a neighbor? Are you going to have to evacuate? Are you going to be able to take it with you? And you want to be prepared for different types of disasters. During earthquakes, it used to be that you'd go into a door frame. Well, we found out that people get hit with the doors as they swing back and forth, and that's not a good thing. So you want to make sure that you drop, cover, and hold on. And we're pretty good here on the edges because we can duck under the table if anything happens. It's nice and sturdy. We can hold on to it. The chairs, you probably could, but you'd have to dive under the chair. At least get yourself below the level of the chair, so if anything falls, it's going to pretty much stop at that level. So I think about that wherever I go. If I'm in a movie theater, where am I going to go? If I'm in a store, what's the safest place to be? It's called situational awareness. And it's not a bad thing to practice. My family thinks I'm nuts, but it's not a bad idea for your own safety to understand how to get out of any situation you might be in when an emergency strikes. Okay. So drop, cover, and hold on is drop to the floor, take cover under a heavy piece of furniture, cover your head, and hold onto the furniture with your other hand. And you want to stay inside. You don't want to run out. Okay. Why do you want to cover your head? Effie?
Anything falls on your body, the head is the most delicate place, so if you damage your head, you're not going to have a good chance of survival.
Absolutely right, and I'm glad you put it that way, because head injuries are the most common cause of death after a disaster. It's not uncommon for people to die from head wounds, because they don't look as bad sometimes, but I think we've seen that in the news lately, where people get head injuries and all of a sudden they're gone. If you're outside, you want to move into the open. You want to be away from buildings, street lights, trees, utility wires, anything that might fall on you. And you want to stay in the open until the shaking stops, or at least the worst of it. With fires, you want to make sure you've got smoke alarms and test them regularly. parents' anniversary or daylight savings time, it's not a bad time to check your smoke alarms. Daylight savings time is kind of good because that gets you checking every 6 months. And then draw a floor plan and identify 2 escape routes. We talked about that. How many of you live in 2-story houses? Probably not a bad idea to have escape ladders from your 2nd floor. And make sure that they don't just say 2-story, that you measure and make sure that there's going to be enough ladder to get you from where your window is down to the ground. You don't want to drop that last 6 feet. It's not fun. And if you've got security bars, you want to make sure they have quick release devices so you can get out. And, of course, select a safe outside meeting place. Where do you think might be a good place to meet if you have to get out of your house?
Local park.
Local park? Mm-hmm. Joshua?
In the street?
Maybe. Maybe. There might be traffic there. That could be an issue. How about at the local fire hydrant? Maybe not, because the fire department's probably going to want to be able to access that. So maybe your mailbox. Not under a tree, but a mailbox is a pretty safe bet. You also want to learn how to take care of your family and neighbors in an emergency. And you can do that very quickly with the 3 C's: check, call, and care. You want to check the scene for safety before you go check on any victim, because you don't want to become a second victim. You want to make sure it's safe for you to help. Then, once you've seen that the scene is okay, call 911. Once you've called 911 or had somebody else call 911, then you can start taking care of the injured person. And it's not a bad idea to take first aid and CPR. You can take that through the American Red Cross. We have a schedule on our website, arcventura.org. And actually, next spring, we're going to have 9 or 10 locations across the county where you can take first aid training, because that's the 100th anniversary of first aid training with the Red Cross. Okay. And you want to be informed. You can check our website, arcventura.org, or redcross.org, which is the national website, or FEMA.gov. They have a really good booklet called Are You Ready? That you can order and they'll mail it to you, or you can actually print it. It's about 100 pages or so it would take a while to print, but you can order it, and it comes in about a month. So what you want to do is get a kit, make a plan, and be informed. Okay. Thank you very much for paying attention and answering my questions.
Are there any questions at this time?
If anybody at home wanted to contact the Red Cross to, ask about home safety and anything you talked about, do you have any information they could call you with? Or
I have a card that I can give you. I'll stay until the end. I also have some handouts if you want to pick them up at the back. And evaluations, because they like to see if they're going to double my salary as a volunteer.
Could you just say it, though, online on TV?
arcventura.org. And there is a phone number, and I'm blanking on that.
The number is 805-339-2234.
Thank you. That's the Ventura office. There is also a Camarillo office phone number as well, but that's on the website. Yes, Hannah?
Do you know of any local shelters in case of an emergency?
Actually, that's a very good question, Hannah, because we do have about 90 shelters identified across the county. On the East Coast, people know that if you're having a flood in a low-lying area, then you go to X school in a higher-lying area. Unfortunately, here, if we have an earthquake, we can't guarantee that an area that we've got an agreement for a shelter with is still safe. We have to go out and check to make sure the building is still safe and able to be used as a shelter. Most times they'll be schools, but sometimes they're churches and community centers as well. So just watch, and it will be published by your city's Office of Emergency Services, police, sheriff's department. They will get things out. I believe you guys also have a reverse 911 phone system that they call affected areas and tell you where the shelters are, including the animal shelters. Okay. Rebecca?
If somebody wanted some of the information you said again, could they go to that website you listed and find that information? Or
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And redcross.org, the nationwide one, also has a lot of information on different emergencies.
Yes. Are there any volunteer opportunities for teens through the American Red Cross?
Absolutely. We have very active youth groups in 11 different high schools across the county, and we're always welcoming more people if you want to start one at your school. Yes. In fact, they work a lot with younger kids on safety. Okay. Andrea?
What would be your recommendation if we're out with friends somewhere and a disaster happens and we're away from our parents?
Try to contact your parents first to let them know that you're okay, and then do your best to get back to your family meeting place. And sometimes, especially as you're older, you may want to have a meeting place in a park, like I think it was Jake recommended. Make sure that you have a meeting place outside of your home, because you may not be able to get to your home. You may have to go to a more central area. So I would say definitely make that part of your plan with your family, is where are you going to meet if you're out with your friends. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Okay, there being no more questions, we would like to thank Ms. Mose for coming and giving her presentation today, and we really appreciate her services.
Thank you very much to Commissioner Van Buren and our guest speaker. We'll now be moving on to Commissioner Hatlin with the school and liaison reports.
Thank you very much. Now is the time in our meeting where we invite school ASGs and ASBs to come before the commission and give a report on what their school is doing for the next month. And right now I would like to introduce Commissioner Rose to do the ASG reports.
All right. First, we have Ulysses with Kalina Middle School.
My name is Ulysses Clopendines, and I'm here from Kalina Middle School. December CERT is our second code day, which is 50% orange and spirit night. Friday, report cards are given. The 10th is our fun social at the Roller Dome. The 18th is pajama dress-up day and door decorating contest. We also have 2 donation programs to help those in need: Toys for Tots and food items for food share. Thanks to everybody who donates. December 19th through this January 3rd is our winter break. Thank you and happy holidays.
Thank you. Next, we have Emily and Alyssa from Sycamore Canyon Middle School.
Hello, I'm Emily Sweetman, the president of Sycamore Canyon ASB.
And I'm Alyssa Leone, the vice president of Sycamore Canyon ASB.
Spirit Night is tomorrow, Thursday, December 3rd, for all schools in the district, and we're very excited. We have worked hard to form a lip sync team, a tug-of-war team, a relay team, and a school cheer to compete with other schools.
We will be having Ultimate Spirit Day tomorrow. Students can dress up in school colors for Cody or Class of the Year points to show their Coyote spirit.
We also adopted 3 children in need for the holidays, and Sycamore Canyon is donating to the Manna Food Drive and Toys for Tots.
We are going to be selling holiday grams during lunch next week so students can buy their friends a treat and a greeting.
Students can enjoy music 2 days a week at lunch and lunchtime activities on Fridays.
Report cards will be distributed this Friday the 4th. That is all. Thank you for your time and good night.
Thank you. Next, we have William and Rachel from Los Cerritos Middle School.
To start, babysitting night is on Friday the 11th from 6:30 to 9 p.m. This is a fundraiser for our PSST class. Parents may bring their children so they can have a night out or go shopping for the holidays. Also, PSST is doing training for mediations so that students can work together to solve problems. Peer academic coaching has had a great response with many students receiving help from fellow classmates. PSST is holding a Toys for Tots drive. Donations are accepted in the front office.
ASB is ready for Spirit Night, which is tomorrow at the Teen Center. Our theme is old school. Come and support us. Students have started going to elementary schools to offer tutoring. Please contact ASB if you have any questions. ASB is also working with autistic ambassadors to learn how to help autistic children.
Thank you. Next, we have Katie and Ashlyn from Conejo Valley High School.
Hi, my name is Ashlyn. I go to Conejo Valley High School.
Hi, I'm Katie, and I'm a senior at Conejo Valley High School. And we had our first quarter Renaissance Assembly on Friday, November 13th, 2009. Parents were invited to watch their children being honored for attendance and academic excellence. 60 students were given attendance awards. Out of those 60 students, 34 qualified for Renaissance Academic Achievement Awards. To qualify for Renaissance, the students need to earn 15 credits or more in the quarter and have no D's or F's, earn the attendance award, and have no suspensions. The students were given a Renaissance keychain that will admit them to one special event planned for them. Their first event is a movie and lunch event on December 18th, and the students were also entered in a raffle.
We collected toys for the local Action Toy Shop for foster care and families in need that will be at the First Christian Church in Newbury Park this Saturday. Action is a Christian group that organizes churches in the area for outreach projects. We also collected food items from Manna Food Pantry.
We had an all-school Thanksgiving feast on Monday before the holiday. EV Free Church served a meal to the students and staff that consisted turkey, mashed potatoes, dressing, cranberries, corn, bread, and lots of yummy desserts.
Today we had a talent show auditions. There are 11 fabulous students acts with 4 guest acts. The acts consist of singing, dancing, and different instruments. The talent show will be held on Friday, January 22nd, 2010, during an extended lunch period.
Other December activities include the 4th period class competing against each other in the holiday Trivial Pursuit contest. There will also be individual and paper and pencil contests in addition to Santagrams being sold and sent out the last week of school before winter break. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we have Gabriella from Lorena.
Hi, my name is Gabriella Brignardello, and I am a sophomore at Lorena High School. I would first like to start by congratulating our robotics team for doing very well at the recent competition, and they qualified for the World Championships in Dallas. I would also like to congratulate Alexis Williams, a junior, whose artwork won first place in the Ventura County Science Fair poster contest. Tonight we are having a college financial aid workshop at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, the 3rd, is the first soccer game of the season against Westlake High School, so good luck, Regents. We have the SAT being held at Lorena on December 5th, and then on December 6th is our annual open house from 1 to 4 p.m., and it's a way for prospective students and families to see what goes on at Lorena, and many students are volunteering their time to lead campus tours, to have a sneak peek of our fall musical, and have different activities for all the different classes. Also on that day is the second equestrian horse show at Hanson Dam. The ACT will be held at Lorena on December 11th. And then from December 11th to December 13th, our Regent performers are putting on this year's fall musical, Hello Dolly. And the performances are Friday the 11th at 7:30, Saturday the 12th at 2 p.m. and 7:30 p.m., and Sunday the 13th at 2 p.m. Our Adopt a Family program ends on December 14th, and the gifts will be delivered by students on December 19th. And then on December 18th, we have our annual winter formal from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. And this year's theme is Masquerade Ball. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Hannah Barrett from Westlake.
Congratulations to Westlake varsity football. They defeated Moorpark to win Marmani League and have won the first 2 games of CIF, moving on this Friday to the quarterfinals with a record of 12-0. We will play St. Bonnie at home, so be sure to come out and cheer on our amazing team. Good luck, Warriors. Come see the Winter Choir concert this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. at Newbury Park High School. Also, we have our Winter Blood Drive on Wednesday, December 9th. Be sure to sign up by the attendance office if you haven't done so already. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the last of the ASG reports.
Thank you, Commissioner Rose, and all of our student representatives. I'd now like to turn the meeting back over to Vice Chair Hatland.
Thank you, Commissioner Sadwick. Now we will have the Teen Center Advisory Report done by Commissioner Sklavenitis.
I would like to introduce Diana Quintana, the chair of this year's Teen Center Advisory Committee, to give the report.
Hi, like Ms. Sklavenitis said, I'm chair of this year's Teen Center 2009-2010 committee, and I'm Diana Quintana. I'm a junior at Newbury Park High School. Just a recap of past events. The middle school boys friendly soccer tournament concluded after 4 weeks of play, and Kalina took first place, so congratulations to them. Our fall middle school leagues concluded after 10 weeks of play. The championship games were amazing in regards to skill level and building, being packed to capacity with spectators. The champions were as followed. The girls volleyball Monday league champions were Lorena. The girls volleyball Wednesday league 7th grade champions were Redwood. The girls volleyball Wednesday league 8th grade champions were Redwood also. The boys basketball Thursday league 7th grade champions were Kalina. The boys basketball league 8th grade champions were Sequoia. Last night was the first night of player evaluations for the high school boys basketball evaluations. Next Tuesday we will have a second evaluation from 6 to 8 p.m. And congratulations to all the teams who won and participated in these leagues. Our Harvest Dance was held on Saturday, November 21st, and we had just over 500 teens attend. Some upcoming events are tomorrow night, December 3rd, we will host our middle school spirit night, and this huge event that includes competition and cheer, relays, tug of war, lip sync, and so much more. All 5 public middle schools participate. These are Los Cerritos, Redwood, Sequoia, Kalina, and Sycamore Canyon, and we accept about 1,000 teens. This Saturday, December 5th, we will host our annual high school Battle of the Bands. We have 6 bands performing. There are Majority Rules, Blackout 101, Left on Bromley, Right of Light, R5 Band, and the Tony Ferrari Band, so try to go if you can. Then next Saturday we will have our 7th and 8th grade holiday dance, which is December 12th from 7 to 10 p.m. for middle school. And finally on Thursday, December 31st, we have our community-wide 7th and 8th grade New Year's Eve celebration, and this event runs from 8 p.m. to 12:15 a.m. and includes open soda bar, pizza, hourly raffles, laser lights, Teen Center Text Live, music videos, 1,000 balloon drop, confetti, party hats, horns, noisemakers, and a midnight countdown. It is tons of fun, and all for just $10. So mark your calendar now, and a lot is happening at the Teen Center in the month of December. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for everybody who gave a report tonight. Once again, any ASVs or ASGs are welcome to come and give a report. We'd love to have you. I'd like to now turn the meeting back over to Commissioner Sadwick.
Thank you, Vice Chair Hatland. We'll now have the event reports and announcements. Will Commissioner McMahon please give the Rock the Oaks report?
All right, Rock the Oaks, our annual rock concert, is on April 23rd, 2010. We are now accepting applications from local teenage and young adult bands in the community. Applications are due on January 8th, and you can apply by going to toaks.org/youth, where you'll find a PDF application which you can print out, and I believe there's instructions on there on how to turn it back in. As of now, we are trying to get donations and possibly local celebrity bands. We know that Hoobastank played in the second Rock the Oaks, so if you're watching, we'd love to have you again. Again, this show is on April 23rd. Tickets will go on sale in the new year, so I hope to see you all there.
Thank you very much, Commissioner McMahon. Will Commissioner Colehep please give the volunteer newsletter report?
The volunteer newsletter is a newsletter put together by the Youth Commission to inform teens of volunteer opportunities. In February, our next issue will be printed. We will periodically update our online newsletter with any articles organizations would like posted. We request that any articles sent to us for our seasonal printing be concise in order to save space and money. However, there are no size restrictions for our online newsletter, so organizations are welcome to send us separate, more detailed articles for our online version. If you're interested in more information, please email us at youthcommission@toaks.org or call us at 449-2743. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Colehep. We will now have the Youth Summit report with Commissioner Hong.
So we've decided that Youth Summit is on Saturday, February 20th. 2010 at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
I'm sorry, honey, you have to start over because they didn't hear the first part.
Okay. So we've decided that Youth Summit is on Saturday, February 20th, 2010 at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have finished our packets, which contain all the information and applications for the students and the principals. And we are expecting many officials and leadership participants, so please return all finished applications by January 8th, 2010. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Hong. And with that, I would like to remind everyone that if you're interested in attending the Youth Summit, to contact your school principal because they are nominating people. And for any other information about the Youth Commission or agenda items we've discussed, please call 805-449-2743 or email youthcommission@toaks.org. There being no further business to come before the Thousand Oaks Youth Commission, the December 2nd meeting is adjourned at 7:18 p.m. until our January 6th televised meeting. Thank you very much.